Hello and welcome to episode 6 of eSports Sedition. I'm Alex Fletcher. Today I wanted to briefly address why I feel eSports is a preeminent platform for both sports and media properties. Earlier this week, I published a blog post that was titled Why Esports is the Biggest Thing to Happen to Sports Since Television. And aside from the bold posturing in the title, trying to get everyone's attention, look over here, read this, I really meant it from a practical perspective. And my take on esports today is that its value is in aggregate as a platform for connecting to the huge gold mine that is a highly engaged community of fans, viewers, and contributors. So it isn't so much the intricacies of competitive gaming, and they are legion, because there's a huge difference between what goes on in the LCS and what happens in a league with that features Call of Duty or Counter-Strike Global Offensive. But my whole point is those differences, the dynamics of the different pieces of the esports universe or different components of this platform are individually next to nothing when you look at its value as a whole. And I think this is pretty well demonstrated by the early activity in the venture capital community, where we're seeing firms that, while they're connected to individual pro leagues or professional gaming or professional competitive gaming leagues and activities like League of Legends, Call of Duty, Dota 2, they are more concerned with engaging or connecting to the entire breadth of the esports landscape. Companies like Alpha Draft, Vulcan, Unicorn, the latter of which offers literally the ability to bet on just about any professional esports activity that's taking place today. So while there are clearly implications for those individual components on this esports platform, they're taking an aggregate approach to bringing forth a product and a service. And I think that's where the value is today. It's the fact that you have this huge universe surrounding competitive gaming. And the competitive gaming itself is the sun, but by itself, the sun is nothing without all of the different planets that it sustains. And in order to really fully appreciate what's going on with esports, we have to look at the big picture. We have to look at, like I said earlier, the fact that this highly engaged community it exceeds, and it's almost a model for what every single professional sporting league wants today. It's a model for what media companies want out of their own platforms. And because it's a model, it offers them an opportunity, them being those sport and media properties, to connect in to esports and derive value, but also bring value. And so being able to offer that spectator draw, incredibly compelling media experience that is esports as a whole is what I mean by a platform. And connecting, engaging to that is where today 90% of the value, in my opinion, is found. And that's going to change. With more industry maturation, we're going to see the ability of those individual components that are part of this esports platform or universe or whatever you want to call it. You're going to see them mature. And then you're going to see the businesses and you're going to see the economies of scale grow around each of those. But right now, they're too immature. It's almost like a bowl of jello, and this bowl of jello is forming, and until it forms, you can't really do much with it. You know what it's going to be, and we can all see where this is going, this being esports, but until it forms, so you give it the time for it to gel, it can't ever really be everything it's meant to be. Even though, as a fan of jello, you can always eat the jello before it. No, that's another subject. But the point is, right now, it's that it's that aggregate value that's represented by the esports domain. And hopefully we see more activity by traditional sporting teams who are going to come in, as I alluded to in the blog post, and not just sponsor esports team, but, introduce innovative ways to say, let's connect into this platform. It's not just a competing activity. It's not just a genre we can brush off and say, oh, you're not a sport because you don't play on the field or you don't sweat when you play a video game. But this is something that brings a lot of value for us, and that we can introduce our fair share of value in exchange for engaging. So hopefully that picks up, but I'd love to hear anyone's thoughts, feelings, perspectives on this, because I think it's an area and it's a topic that needs some more fleshing out. That's all I have for today. Thanks. Tune in later.